All right, good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Very good. We are about to get started. I'm Mary Pulley, weekend anchor and reporter at Fox 4 News, and I am honored to be able to be here today to welcome you all to the second annual luncheon. I just want to let you know that your presence today is a testament not only to the meaningful work that NICE is doing, but also a statement that what we do today can bring about more positive future for our region. And it's through the willingness to work side by side that we will surely build a Kansas City region and continue to prosper and offer opportunities to citizens, businesses, and visitors alike. We're all about taking the necessary steps to become a first-tier metropolis that our peer cities will look to as an example of what can be, and we will get there together. I know you all are anxious to enjoy your lunch, but will you all please stand, if you're able, and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. You may be seated. At this time, I would like to recognize any elected officials that we have here today who have made time to come and join us. When I call your name, would you please stand and be recognized? And I also ask that we save our applause to the very end so all of our elected officials can be recognized together. The Honorable Mike Boehm, Mayor of Lenexa, Kansas. Honorable Alicia Kennedy, 5th District, Kansas City, Missouri City Council. Honorable John Fierro, Kansas City Public School Board Member. The Honorable Quentin Lucas, 3rd District at Large, Kansas City, Missouri City Council. The Honorable Deron McGee, 36th District, Missouri House of Representatives. The Honorable Kevin McManus, 6th District, Kansas City, Missouri City Council. The Honorable Ron Schaefer, 1st District, Johnson County Board of Commissioners. The Honorable Catherine Shields, 4th District at Large, Kansas City, Missouri City Council. And Honorable Dan Tarwater III, 4th District, Jackson County Legislature. And the Honorable Frank White, Jackson County Executive. If you are all here, please stand. Thank you once again for joining us, taking time out of your busy schedule for such an important cause. At this time, I would like to bring Jason April to the stage. He's got a very special video presentation for us. Justin April, my apologies.
Thanks, Mary. Before we get to the video, I'd like to take this opportunity to, well, first of all, recognize our sponsors. Many of the names have been displayed on our screens throughout the luncheon today. So if you would help me, please give a round of applause to our sponsors. And thank you to everyone who's here today. This second annual luncheon is it continues to amaze me, the interest that we have when all we had to do is simply ask. So thank you very much. The other thing I'd like to do right now is to recognize my peers on the NICE Board of Directors. If you could all please stand. So the Board of Directors. Thank you very much. And then one more group, special group I'd like to recognize today. We have a teacher and some students with us today from Grandview High School. So the teacher is Mr. Clark Vance and his students, Lee White and Antoine Norton. If you wouldn't mind, please standing up. Thank you. And now, if you could please direct your attention to the video screens for a brief video about NICE.
Right now, NICE is doing the work that is so necessary for the future of our city. We have a need for architects, engineers, construction managers, and a number of other trades related to construction to help us build the city of the future. We have projects that are horizontal, projects that are vertical, and they're not only happening right now, but we expect them to happen on into the future. But who is going to be that workforce? Well, that's where NICE comes in. As we talk about the students who today, whether they be young ladies, young men, who is going to populate those jobs in the future? Well, that's where NICE is allowing us to work on that future, to get those students who may not know those skills today in a position not only to learn them, but to thrive in the economy of tomorrow, to be prepared for those jobs and to be prepared for those careers that are so necessary for us to build this city with our very own people.
Working with NICE, I think, has been a tremendous asset to bring the industry into our high schools. And so it's not just what's offered at Manual Tech, but what we also offer at our high schools in their remote facilities as well.
Really opened some students' eyes to just how diverse the construction industry was, that it's more than just the guys who put shingles on your roof. It's more than just the guys who put pipes in your house. It's about the men and women who, build your roads. It's about the men and the women who build skyscrapers and buildings and design buildings and do the engineering for buildings and do, the accounting for construction firms. I mean, it just encapsulates so much more than any of our students can imagine. NICE also organizes a lot of events for our students, such as senior days, where our kids can go out and get kind of a hands-on glimpse of what it might be like to work in one of these fields. Maybe they want to be a pipe fitter, a boiler maker, a mason, a painter, a carpenter.
NICE has given us a way of letting them see that they can do something even at this age and actually see it come to fruition. They can see it happen. I am so thankful that NICE was introduced to me several years ago, and I'm hooked.
I would like to thank our Executive Director, Greg Lever, for his work on putting together the videos today, especially that one, which explains our programs. I'm very happy to say that this past year we had over 2,000 students participate in the NICE events. Their participation in these programs opens their eyes to real career choices within the construction and also related industries. These children will grow and they will need careers. And our industry needs them. By most accounts, the industry overall nationwide lost about 40% of its workforce during the Great Recession. Even with a renewed economy, many of these workers never did return. And the current workforce is aging in both the skilled trades and in the office. No offense to anybody here, but we are aging. And a vibrant construction workforce is very necessary to not only our local infrastructure, but to our economy. And so thank you to everyone for being here today and your support of NICE. As we prepare to hear from our keynote speaker about another very important topic, please enjoy this next video that promotes thought-provoking perspectives regarding the significance of a vibrant and growing airport to the economic vitality of our region.
The present model served us well in the past, but it's outdated. Kind of like us baby boomers, having to have this paradigm shift in the way we think. The airport is going to have a paradigm shift in how it serves the people.
As we look at the airport as a port, as part of a logistics system, as the movement of people and freight, and understanding how that can be of economic advantage to Kansas City, it's important to realize that this asset reaches the entire region. And in fact, it's a place that's open every single day of the year, almost 24 hours a day, and it can't close down, and it's critical to our future. So thinking about how we accommodate air service that exists today and how we might anticipate it existing tomorrow is within all of our mutual interest wherever we are in Kansas City. And as we look at aircraft that, quite frankly, the service that we have today, those aircraft coming in are getting larger, They're different aircraft than they were when KCI was built or even in the last handful of years. And thinking strategically about how we accommodate air service for the future is very, very important. And I think the engagement of a conversation around that to be thoughtful is one that we have to do. It's a great, important asset, our airport is, and it's not going to go away, it won't close down, and it requires all of us as leaders in Kansas City, as individuals that are interested, to take a look at its true potential in making Kansas City a great place and growing Kansas City for our future, for our kids, and creating jobs and opportunities for young people that I know we all want.
Really, for the first time in the history of the team that started in 1969, we have people traveling from all over the country. And you could probably argue all over the world if they're coming back to Kansas City to visit friends or family. And that's where a vital airport becomes vital for the Royals, because we have people that are seeing the team for the first time in a long time from all over the continent. There aren't very many people that need to be told that a vital airport in the region is a big deal when it comes to companies locating and relocating in Kansas City. And how that translates for us is that companies are buying season tickets, and that can only help us in the future.
As a region, we have to be committed to the growth and prosperity of our airport and our ability as a region to be able to make that economically prosperous in order for the rest of us to be prosperous. In Overland Park, we are 14% of the passenger travel to the Kansas City airport, second behind only Kansas City, Missouri. So we know that there's a symbiotic relationship between our community and the Kansas City airport. So it behooves all of us to work together to try to find solutions that are going to be important not only for us as a community, but Kansas City as a region.
When you look at the airport project, and we are supporting a one terminal project, it would create many jobs immediately for the region. The estimate is 18,000 jobs, and the airlines at the airport, they are wanting to grow. They are wanting to increase jobs also. So we feel that the new facility would give them opportunities to do that. The Northland Regional Chamber of Commerce thinks that it is a responsibility of us to support development that will impact the region. And this development at the airport would be the largest economic development project that's happened in the Kansas City area for 50 years.
We're talking about 16,000 construction jobs. Those aren't all necessarily new construction jobs, but with that many construction jobs, you're certainly going to talk about bringing some new folks into the construction industry. And that's extremely important for our community. And jobs like that in my industry with our union are good paying jobs with benefits that obviously add economic impact to our entire community.
It's oftentimes the gateway to a community. In Kansas City in general, and that's the specific, we're an exporter of professional services, whether that's engineering, architecture, or the finances. We're headquarters to a power plant production engineering firm. We have many engineers that travel across the country and across the globe. It's important that they have a quality airport to reach their destinations. Those jobs, those contracts bring revenue back to our community in the form of salaries as well as tax dollars to support local governments and services. Luncheon is a hub of the life sciences here in the Kansas City area with over 33 companies in that industry. Their business requires an airport, a quality airport, to bring international clients into the Midwest, into Kansas City and certainly Johnson County, Luncheon, to do business. It's important that the airport in any community is alive, vibrant, and has the flights, the connecting flights, what have you, to the world. It's the gateway to a community for those traveling from afar. So it's our connection to the world.
Site selection is incredibly important to how we decide where our convention goes. The international guests that we have almost double when we're on the East Coast. That's attributes to ease of access and the airport directly. Not only is that by just the general attendee, but that also reflects directly on how we attract exhibitors And exhibitors spend a lot of money to come to events, to conventions, and they want a return on their investment. Just imagine if we can double our international attendance for our event, what that does for all of the other events that Kansas City attracts. And what will that do to the economic impact and the growth of our city?
If you don't have opportunities for airports to grow and expand and be vital to the needs of the business, what you see is leaking of traffic to other airports surrounding any metropolitan area. If you look at what airport development has been doing for the last 30 years, a single terminal is the most operationally efficient way to accommodate your passengers in your community. And it provides you a lot of flexibility and adaptability to grow for the future. Commercial airports typically run independently on their separate enterprise fund that all the monies and revenues that are generated in the airport have to stay in the airport. And any capital needs that are generated out of the airport do not have an effect on the taxpayer.
We bring in a lot of site consultants, folks who are looking to potentially locate into Wyandotte County, locate into the region. We're vying for that business to help them make that decision, that leap to invest here. And so from the moment that they touch down in the airport, that experience that they have of Kansas City begins right then. For us, looking at how we can help our companies expand into that international space. So right now, I would say we have a very small number of companies that are involved in international trade. It's more passive than it is truly engaged. We want to turn that around. And as we do that, we need to be able to look at all capabilities. And largely, I think it goes back to the airport and their ability to ship products internationally out of this location.
Yes, if Kansas City was considered a Tier 1 city for flights and our airport was in that category, and we could attract an international flight. Some have said to me that it would be $250 million value-added proposition for our region with just one international flight. So imagine if there was more than one, but what it would mean to corporations that might pass over us now to locate their world headquarters.
One of the things when I travel, and especially if I have a layover, I like to be able to have something to do other than just sit there and wait for the next flight. And I find in other airports, they have shops, they have nice restaurants, and it's convenient to get to, so I can then catch my next flight. So I think it's critical that something be done at that airport.
An airport in a city is more than just a matter of people who occasionally fly and the convenience associated with it. An airport is $1 billion investment. It's an asset. And if that asset is not being completely and thoroughly used, then the city and everybody in the city is missing out on tax revenue. One thing I'll say about airports and the way that they fit into communities is they have to serve more than a single purpose. It's not just a place to catch a plane and go someplace. It's a place where business people need to have in order to conduct business. It's a place where people transfer back and forth through to get from one place to the other. Everybody who goes to an airport forms some sort of an impression. The impression that we are having formed in Kansas City right now by people who don't live here is a negative impression. That doesn't help us. Business people don't want to come here. We've had organizations who we've tried to lure complain about the airport. We've had businesses complain about the airport. We have to understand that an airport is an asset on a number of different levels, and there is absolutely nothing that we would do to make an inconvenient airport purposely. We would always build an airport that had conveniences in it, but part of those conveniences are modern conveniences that ours simply does not have.
It has been said that if you build a mile of road, it will take you a mile. But if you build a mile of runway, it can take you anywhere in the world.
Very nicely done. How about a hand for Justin April? Very informative videos. Thank you. And at this time, I'd like to bring to the stage Dave Lovetier to introduce the keynote speaker.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, wow, that was impressive. Finally, some positive insight into how much a growing and vibrant airport means to the community. By the way, we have about 6 of the 12 people you saw in the video here today. I'd like to ask them to stand to be recognized at this time. Where are you guys? Thank you very much for doing that. We sure do appreciate it. All right, I promised the organizers I wouldn't go off script, but I have to. And don't worry, I'll save you time. I cut out the mentions of St. Louis University and Jason's bio. So this is a real special day for me. This is the first time ever in my life I get to see my Cubs in the World Series. Go Cubs, go! All right, I'm pleased to be able to introduce to you a person that can give us a true insider's perspective to not only the value of an airport, but what is required from an operational vantage point to help foster the necessary factors to facilitate economic growth through aviation. Jason Van Eaton began his career as an urban development research analyst with U.S. Senate Small Business Committee in Washington, D.C. He then served in multiple positions for Senator Kit Bond, culminating in his role as State Director and Deputy Chief of Staff for 13 years. Van Eaton was a founding partner in the Spectrum Consulting Group, LLC. His work focused on transportation policies, strategy market developments, infrastructure improvement analysis, alternative financing planning, and economic development. Van Eaton was the managing partner of Kit Bond Strategies as an international economic development consulting company for 5 years. As KBS managing partner and a founding member, Van Eaton coordinated large, multifaceted projects for the KBS clients. Jason currently serves as the Vice President of Governmental Affairs for Southwest Airlines, advocating for Southwest and Washington, D.C., in the capitals and in the cities and states they serve. Van Eaton resides in University Park, Texas, with his wife, Mindy, and 2 children, Reagan and Clay. It is now my pleasure to call to the stage Mr. Jason Van Eaton, Vice President, Government Affairs, Southwest Airlines.
We're Southwest, and we have one word for you: yes. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. Yes to rewards you can actually use. How you like us now? In a world full of no, we're a plane full of yes. That's transparency.
Somebody said I should dance my way onto stage, but I think that's enough Southwest employees dancing for one event. Those actually are all Southwest employees. I don't know how our marketing team does it, but they talk our employees into doing these kinds of things. But they do a great job, and I appreciate everything they do. Dave, thank you very much for the opportunity, for the introduction and the opportunity to be here today. As Dave mentioned, I'm actually a Missouri native. I spent most of my career, I was born and raised in Southwest Missouri, and spent most of my career working here in Missouri with a guy that some of you probably heard of named Kit Bond. Spent about 20 years for him in different roles over the years, and loved every minute of the time I had with him. Today I'm here to talk to you about something a little different. I want to tell you a little bit about Southwest Airlines, what Southwest is here in Kansas City, and then I'm going to turn to the terminal project and talk about that for a little bit. So some of you may know some of the history of Southwest, but for those that don't, we've been a company for 45 years now. Southwest was actually conceived on a cocktail napkin in a bar in San Antonio, Texas, during a meeting with a young attorney named Herb Kelleher, our founder, and a businessman that was a client of his named Rollin King. On that cocktail napkin, they drew up what became known as the Texas Triangle, and that's how things began. That was Dallas to San Antonio and Dallas to Houston. That's all we had in the beginning of Southwest Airlines. And we've grown from fewer than 200 employees to 50,000 at the beginning of this year, and I just learned this month that we went over 52,000. We've added 2,000 just this year. We've gone from flying 3 aircraft to over 700 Boeing 737s. That actually represents the largest all-Boeing fleet in the world and the 3rd largest fleet of any kind in the world. We started out with just those 3 cities, and today we serve 98 destinations in 8 countries. And with the launch of Cuba service next month, we'll actually go over 100 cities. Now, this is a construction-oriented group, so let's talk about some of the construction projects Southwest has been involved in. Some of you that traveled on the Kansas City Chamber trip to Dallas last month had a chance to see Dallas Love Field. That is a terminal that we financed and built. It was a little over $500 million for a 20-gate terminal, and in my opinion, could be something that is a vision for what Kansas City could have someday. We also built the Houston Hobby International Concourse. That's a whopping total of 5 gates that cost us $147 million. These projects get a little expensive. We're currently supporting projects in Fort Lauderdale for $300 million, and we're doing billions of dollars in renovation and construction projects in cities like Orlando, Tampa, New Orleans, Atlanta, San Francisco, LA. The list goes on and on. Now, over the 45 years, we've actually won a few accolades along the way, and I like to brag about us when I get a chance. In an industry that has cumulatively lost more than it has earned, Southwest has been profitable for 43 consecutive years. That's a feat that's unheard of in a cyclical market like the airline industry is. Our company consistently ranked on Fortune's Most Admired list. We were actually ranked 7th in 2016, and that's 22 consecutive years on Fortune's Most Admired Companies list. In the last 45 years, unlike many of our competitors, we have never furloughed an employee, all while paying our work group some of the top wages in the industry. And in 2015, Southwest stock was the best performing on the S&P nationally. Very proud of that. So turning to Southwest here in Kansas City, you probably know that we've been serving Kansas City for a long time. We actually started service here on February 18th, 1982. Back then you had 6 options. There were 6 daily nonstops to 2 cities. You could fly to Houston or Oklahoma City. That's it. MCI was actually the 18th city on our route map, and as I said, we've got 98 cities today. We offer 75 daily flights to 29 nonstop destinations from Kansas City, and we do that all from 9 gates at MCI. Here locally, we employ about 300 Southwest employees and support another 360 employees that work through our maintenance vendor, ATS, who do a great job maintaining our fleet. Is anybody from ATS here today? We are very happy with the relationship that we have with them at the maintenance overhaul base at KCI. Last year, Southwest stimulated an excess of $2 billion in economic activity in the Kansas City region, and we transported 4 million Kansas City area passengers. Those are O&D passengers. We call them origination and destination. Those are actual passengers that either started or ended in Kansas City. So that gives you a more accurate picture, because we take out the people that are just transiting through, because they're not staying in hotels, they're not renting cars. These are the people that are having an impact on the economy. There is no doubt, just like you saw in that very well done video, that the airport is one of the largest economic engines in the region. So turning to the airport project, or the terminal project, at the direction and request of the airport leadership, the airlines at KCI, along with the aviation department, engaged in a 2-year planning process to improve the terminal facilities. As agreed, within a 2-year lease extension, the leadership committee from this group presented a recommendation to City Council in April of this year. The recommendation consisted of a preferred new terminal concept with an approximately $964 million design and construction budget. That would be a 35-gate, 725,000 square foot facility with a 6,500 space parking garage. The projected cost to the airlines was going to be about $9 a passenger, in current dollars, or about $11 a passenger when it was finished in 2022. All of this economic activity, hundreds of millions of dollars, means thousands of construction jobs invested in public infrastructure that will benefit Kansas City for decades. All this without a single dollar of increased taxes to the citizens of Kansas City. This is one of the most confusing points that I think a lot of people struggle with. Funding for airports and airport construction projects is very different than pretty much any other project out there. As you just heard in the video, the entire $1 billion new terminal project will essentially be funded by the users of the airport. That is a key point that a lot of Kansas City voters have missed. And following the presentation to the City Council, the city decided to suspend discussions of a new terminal due to polling which indicated the public was not in favor of a new terminal. Southwest and all the other carriers support a new terminal. We believe that a major renovation is not money well spent, as the airport facility is aging, it's out of date, it's poorly designed for today's air travel needs, and would continue to require too much maintenance. For example, whereas you could widen the concourses to provide relief to cramped ticketing and baggage claim areas, we would still have the wrong allocation between secure and unsecure space at the airport. Any changes must take into account customer convenience, and they have to be cost effective. A primary focus of Southwest Airlines is to improve the customer experience, all facets of that customer experience. That's a top priority for our CEO, Gary Kelly, and for every one of our 52,000 employees. To improve that experience in Kansas City, we've spent millions of dollars already in recent years to connect gates behind security and make it easier to get through security into your gate. But we can't keep putting Band-Aids on the facility. Southwest does not support a major renovation project at KCI because we've been renovating it for years. Although the airport needs improvements to ticketing, security checkpoints, hold rooms, federal inspection and customs services, ramp and parking areas, these improvement costs would be equivalent to new construction, and they would be less efficient. As the airlines are the main financial backers of this project, we do not approve spending resources in this way. So what are some of the advantages of a new terminal versus a renovation? You're going to have more passenger conveniences. You're going to have technologies for all functions, both customer-facing and internally. You're going to have lower capital and operating costs. You can avoid duplication like central processors, baggage systems, concessions, moving walkways, parking garages, et cetera, et cetera. There are many advantages. There would be more efficient airside and terminal and landside operations for the airlines as well. Key point is that the isolated site where Terminal A is allows for easier and shorter construction time with fewer passenger interruptions. As I'm speaking to a room of construction professionals, I don't have to tell you how much harder it would be to build a terminal that is being used by thousands and thousands of passengers every day. Southwest is actively involved in these projects all over the country, as evident in the list I read earlier. And the opportunity Kansas City has is very rare, and we don't want to miss that opportunity to save millions of dollars and months of construction time because we have a clean site to work from. There is some urgency to this project as well. Improving airports takes years, and the longer it takes, the more painful it is. The Terminal A site is available now, and we don't want to lose that construction site. We don't want to lose the momentum. A lot of you are talking about it, and we're hearing about it in the press a lot. The airlines are in favor of doing something right now. Interest rates, labor costs, commodity costs are all going to go up. And as Joe Reardon mentioned in the opening video, forecasts indicate passenger growth, not reductions in the future. Kansas City has an amazing opportunity to look beyond the last 50 years and focus on the next 50. So as I wrap up, I want to make a request. If Kansas City truly wants a new airport to be the front door the city can be proud of for decades to come, it's up to you. It's up to you to make the case to Kansas City voters. And I urge you to consider all options, but if the decision is made to pursue a public vote, you will need to educate voters. Southwest stands by to be a partner to this effort, but at the end of the day, it's up to the citizens of Kansas City and leaders like those in this room that are going to make this happen. Southwest has loved serving Kansas City for more than 34 years, and we plan to continue to offer our legendary customer service, connecting people to what's important in their lives, whether there is a new terminal or not. But if you think a new terminal is important, the business community needs to speak out. Speak out to the general community and to city leadership in favor of a new terminal in the context of air service development, enhancing the image of Kansas City, providing 21st century air service, and increased construction jobs in the region. So with that, I want to say thank you to Greg and to the board and to Dave for giving me a chance to get back to Missouri. I always appreciate a chance to be here, and I thank you for your time.
Mr. Benny, thank you once again for sharing your insight and your perspective and from traveling from Dallas to be here with us today. It is now time to announce some awards. We have 3 awards that NICE gives out each year. And at this time, I would like Mr. Ken Hager to join us to the stage to present the first award.
I guess I'm on my own. Oh, thank you. The NICE Christopher S. Kit Bond Friend of Construction Award is presented to a person or entity that has worked tirelessly to provide the necessary mechanisms, either directly or through their sphere of influence, to enable new construction and/or the rehabilitation of existing structures, thereby promoting and increasing the economic sustainability and enhancement of the quality of life in the Kansas City region. I'm here today to honor a person whose name is synonymous with economic development in downtown Kansas City. With all the activity currently happening in the Central Core, it may be hard for someone to appreciate the desolate status of downtown Kansas City, particularly the West Side, 30 years ago. I strongly believe that we would not experience the renaissance we have today if not for the vision and resolve of Tom McDonald, who created an urban campus in the west side of downtown Kansas City, combining both the construction of new facilities as well as the renovation of existing facilities. I had the privilege of working with Tom for 24 years in Kansas for DST and have witnessed Tom's impact in Kansas City across all aspects of our society. Tom's accomplishments are too lengthy to try to go through today, so we have for you a present. Each of you received a book when you came today, Being a Good Neighbor, which you found on your seat as you arrived. This book is a testament to the legacy of the tireless work and positive impact that Tom McDonald has had on Kansas City. Please help me welcome Tom to the stage to present this award, to accept this award.
Certainly. Well, I certainly want to say thank you for the award, but as you will see in that book, the reward really goes to a lot of people. This reward would mean nothing without mentioning Phil Kirk, for instance, who is a key architect of the West Side development, without mentioning, not by name, but all the associates of DST who've worked down in this area and contributed to its environment, and also to our many partners we've had over time, like Financial Holding and so forth. who were, along with DST, responsible for the sort of renovation and expansion of this hotel and giving us the great space we're in here today. So there's so many thanks that are due, but I very much appreciate this recognition. And like I say, it's an award for many, but it'll be held by me. Thank you.
The second award will be presented by Paul Neidline of J.E. Dunn Construction and the NICE Board of Directors.
Thank you, Ken. The NICE Construction User Award is presented to a person or entity that is a leader in its use of construction services through its large-scale development projects throughout the Kansas City region. The recipient of this award understands and exemplifies the relationship between investing in the growth of their entity and the positive impact that said investment has on the economic sustainability of the whole region. This year's recipient has made a long-term commitment in its facilities, and those facilities create great jobs, including a lot of jobs for those of us in the room, and have helped them receive designations in the field of medicine that are bestowed upon only the best of the best. I am pleased to present the award to the University of Kansas Hospital, an institution that is surely growing towards the future. Please help me welcome John McDonough, Vice President of Facility Services and Real Estate Development, to the stage to accept this reward.
Thank you very much, Paul. On behalf of the University of Kansas Hospital, I'd like to express our thanks to the National Institute for Construction Excellence for this year's Construction Users Award. The expertise and support of the design, engineering, and construction community are key ingredients in helping us to achieve our mission as the premier academic health system in the region. I want to congratulate all of you for your efforts in your encouragement and your support of our young people to pursue opportunities in the construction field. We certainly need them in our next generation. Thank you very much.
Our next award will be presented by Dr. Richard Bruce of the Builders Association and the NICE Board of Directors.
I'm making Greg really nervous right now. I'm off script. No scripts, Greg. Sorry about that. It's just not my style. I do need a heckler today. Usually it's my boss. Sometimes it's some folks from labor. You want to be? Oh, Kevin's over there. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Now, today I have the honor of presenting the Construction Education Award to Jack Bitzenberg. I found out the other day that I was going to give this award, so I invited Jack to meet me at Panera Bread and discuss his many accomplishments. And I tell you, it was kind of like sitting next to Forrest Gump on the park bench. We sat there and talked about his career, and he started his career in actually 6th grade. He boarded with his 6th grade teacher, and he worked Monday through Friday on the farm, and his parents were totally cool with that. He must have been a rotten kid, huh? So I don't know, any other hands going up in the room that boarded with their 6th grade teacher? Yeah, you want to say, how old are you, Jack? But, he went on and worked on the pipeline like his uncle and his father before him. He worked with Local 663. So he learned the value of a hard day's work, and it benefited him in his career. He then worked, like John Wayne, as a corpsman in the Navy. And all of these career choices helped him when he became a teacher. So then he switched roles, went to college like his dad told him to, and went to college and got a degree in teaching and went to work as a high school teacher and then a principal. Then he joined the policymakers in Jeff City for Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, and then assumed roles with MCC, Metropolitan Community College, as the first dean of the Business and Technology Center there on Front Street. So many of you are recipients of his graduates over the years. He's done a great job in supporting the NICE initiatives over the years. After retiring with MCC, then he joined the Kansas City Public School System and worked as a Director of Career and Technology Education for them. So we've definitely had his students at our events, the NICE iBuild event. And in fact, now he's retired twice, and now he's spearheading an initiative in Kansas City called the Kansas City, what's it called? Construction Academy, Construction Career Academy. So we just appreciate your work over the years, Jack, and I just, if you all could join me in welcoming and congratulating Jack Bisenberg. Life is like a box of chocolates. I'm supposed to come back around, right? So you never know what you're going to get, but with the passion in education and construction, you can limit the chocolates or something like that. Something along those lines. Kevin, come on, heckler. Give me. Okay.
Thank you so much for this award. One correction to Richard's comments and the brief bio. I was the founding president of the Business and Technology College out on Front Street. I told him after we talked at Panera's, now don't tell them all that stuff I told you about all the things I've done, because they're going to think I'm 90 years old and instead of just in my mid-60s. But he did say most of it, and I've always said that I'm very proud of being born to the peasant class, even though we really don't have a class system in this country, to where you have to work toward your accomplishments, whatever they are. And there is pride in work. And coming from a construction family, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you so much.
Very nice. Congratulations to all of the recipients. How about another round of applause for them all? All right, before we part ways, we have the honor of giving out 4 door prizes. We have a big bowl here, and if you'll join me, hopefully all of you got the opportunity to put your business card in this bowl. So we are going to pick 4 winners. Did everyone get an opportunity? Okay. All right, for the first prize we have here, 1 full year membership to the National Soccer Coaches Association of America, an NCCAA SCARF, and Kansas City-based organization. So we'll do a nice shuffle to make it fair. All right, so for the first prize, a big congratulations to Sean Hoyer from American Fire Sprinkler. All right, you have to be present to win, so, oh, there he is.
Over there. Okay.
And as he's coming to the stage, I'll read for the very next prize, Sunday brunch for 2 at the Bristol Seafood Grill in the Power and Light location. And for that prize, a big congratulations to Langford Findler Associates, Consulting Engineering, Inc. Oh, I got 2 cards here.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, here you go. That would be Alan Langford. All right, and for the next 2 prizes, and we want to let you know we don't have something we can physically give you. These are e-tickets, so you will be in contact with someone who will present you with your prize. But these are 2 tickets, vouchers for a round-trip ticket within the continental United States on Southwest Airlines. 2 lucky winners for that. The first one goes to Jason Waldron, Public Works. Congratulations. And our second lucky winner is Colleen White from Strategic Workplace Solutions. Congratulations. How about another round of applause for all of our 4 wonderful prize winners? Oh, looks like the second one didn't show. Is that right? So we have to draw one more for that wonderful Southwest package.
Nope, this is the...
Oh, this is the Sunday brunch. Okay.
Sunday brunch.
Sunday brunch didn't show. Sorry. It's still a great prize. How about that?
There you go.
Okay, and this would be David Yearman from Burns and McDonnell. Did I say that right, Yearmans? Congratulations. All right, we've come to the end of our program. I've appreciated you all being here. We've had a great time today. Again, a special thanks to Mr. Jason Van Eaton for taking some time out to join us and deliver the keynote address. We also want to thank all of our sponsors and all of you in attendance. We hope you will remain engaged with us as we continue with students throughout the region. And we would love the opportunity to have you join us again next year. The date is set for October 17th, 2017. Have a wonderful day.